Hello, it is Thursday, January 5th, 2012 at 12:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. I wanted to show you some things that were happening on radar during the Iowa caucuses on the 3rd. The caucus workers were to arrive at 5:30 Central Standard Time, which is 23:30 UTC. The people were told to arrive at 6:30. And the meeting started at 7, which is 1 UTC, and the vote took place approximately 8, which is 2 o'clock or 2 UTC. And so I was only able to capture a part of this, and this is the radar that was happening in Iowa during the midst of that. Let me get the start time here. The start time was at 1:30 UTC, so that was about a half an hour into the meeting when they were giving their speeches. And I want you to notice that down here in Hastings, Nebraska, this little, let me zoom in. This is Hastings here. There's this line on radar. Actually, it's a double line, and here's Omaha right here. And you'll see something that just kind of grows very shortly. I'm going to kind of just click through here. Now we've got a line going this way. And I don't know what all this means. It's just some strange things that were appearing that I noticed after the fact here's this line that comes through. I'll have to be zoomed out, I guess, in order for you to see that it just kind of grows. I'm not sure if it's growing out of here, because notice, going back, that when it starts growing, see here, you've got that pattern right here and here, the cross. And now when this shows up, which is that funny cloud just appearing, this starts to break down. See that? And it goes down right over Omaha. Let me unzoom it and go ahead and let the loop play through. And then we also have a HAARP type frequency ring coming here out of La Crosse, Wisconsin. And I think that's what this blue area is here. Zooming in to let you see. And it seems to be in line with that, whatever this thing is that appears all of a sudden. I'm watching a minute to see if there's a gap in the time. This is going to be somewhat tedious because I'm kind of going to walk through each of these things. This right here is a wind farm, and this is a wind farm. I think this is, I don't know for sure. But I'm going to zoom in here on this frequency ring. Here's the line here, and see, it lines up about the same time. Actually, well, look at that. Well, maybe not. If you look at La Crosse up here, I'm come down just a touch and move it over. And see, this comes up, but it looks like the same time that this lit up right here. So this is lit up, and now it starts to fade as this comes down, just like this frequency down here does. Well, look at that. Now, I don't know why this other wind farm frequency doesn't die down too, and I'm not sure this is a wind farm. I know this is, and I know this is. Alright, let me unzoom and let it go all the way through without interrupting it. This is a beam coming out of St. Louis that's always there. Whether it's harmless or not, I don't know, but it is pretty much always there. This is wind farm over here too, on the corner of Minnesota. And you can notice that it's lit up also for a little period here. This is Sioux Falls. This is Des Moines. So all this stuff is lit up like there's a frequency being generated, and once this line appears, everything dies down. Well, not everything. I don't think this one did. Not yet anyway. We're at the end of the loop. So moving on, this is infrared satellite, and it is the entire nation. Let me see my notes here. It goes from 8:15 UTC on the 3rd to 7:45 on the 4th. And you're going to see this cloud coming down and basically going through Iowa. there, after we went and voted, I had a huge headache, and I never get headaches. And it was really a pounding headache. I attributed it to the fluorescent lights that were in the cafeteria area or whatever that was at the school. Ours was held at a school. But then after watching some of these loops, I'm letting this play through, and you're seeing that flash. There's gaps. And so I thought, well, this is odd that this is happening the day of the caucus, and maybe it's not connected, but some of the gaps are right before the caucus starts, and then one set of radar actually has gaps coming up, or actually a couple of them during the meetings. And so when there's gaps, I always figure there's something that they're trying to hide, or someone's trying to hide. So, which makes sense. If everything's okay, then there's no reason to hide it. Now, sometimes it might be down or something, but so that's why I'm showing you these things. I'm just going to put them out in the light and let them be what they are. And these are just my observations, and I'll let you make your own conclusions. So I'm going to click through and identify the gaps. Now this one, we're doing fine at 11:15 UTC, and this is every half hour if I remember right. There's a little variation where sometimes it's on the hour, so this would be 12:15. So this is well before the meetings start. Let's see, 11:45 UTC was like 5 a.m. So like 12 hours before the meeting started. Did I get that right? Well, let me double check. 11 UTC is 5 a.m. Central Standard Time. Okay. So then it goes to gray instead of black, and then it stays gray for another frame, and then it's back on at 13:15. And you can see there's really, from this appearance, there's nothing happening in Iowa, although we have this cloud approaching, or system. And it's somewhat tore up here. I did notice that there's kind of holes in it, and it's fragmented. It's not, I don't know if cohesive is the right word. And then we've got this, I call these satellite rings. They just show up, and no one's explained. They say it's just a thing in the satellite, but I don't know. They kind of show up at the wrong time sometimes. This is at 2015 UTC on January 3rd. And I call this a bump because it's a big piece of the image cut out is what it is, and it looks like it's bumping because sometimes it fluctuates in and out, so it looks like it's bumping it. And sometimes the clouds seem to move, and I don't know if that's something that happened in the satellite where I don't know, they don't use negatives anymore, I don't think, so I don't know. That's at 21:45 UTC. And now we've got quite a few gaps. This is at, let's see if this is 22:45. This is right before the meeting starts. Meeting starting at 23:30, so the next image would be 23:15. That wasn't the meeting starting, I'm sorry, that's when the workers would arrive. And then it's back on. But notice that when it's back on, that it looks like someone took it and shook it up. I'll zoom it in here. See, there's little holes. So going back, this is what it was before the blank. There's the blank, there's what it's like afterwards, and then if I make this red, it just skips that frame, so I'll go back, and so you can just see from one to the next. So I'm not really seeing it so much up in here, up on the left, upper left, as I am right down here in the Midwest area, Iowa being right here. I'm going to unblock this. And I'm just going to let this play through and unzoom it first. Well, I'll let it stay zoomed in so you can see it first. And then unzoom. Now notice there's this big alleyway here. When I go to the jet stream, I've got it saved here on Paint, and this is at 13000 GMT, and you can see what I want you to notice is this little blue cloud over here by Washington State and this little dip down. And you know, I don't know what causes this, but what this is and what this is end up in Iowa at the time of the caucus. So if we go to 1-3 at 12 GMT, you can see that that cloud's moved over here and the dip is right up in here. Now this is the jet stream. And then if we go to 1-4, January 4th at 00 GMT, which is right before the start time, that would be at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. So that's half an hour before everybody was to arrive. That cloud is heading into Iowa, or that whatever that is. I guess it's supposed to be wind. That little patch of wind, 80 knots, but I don't remember it being windy. So up here I got the jet stream playing. I think I can't stop it because so this is right after the meeting. We have another gully. So it's going to start right at what I just showed you. I'll just let it play through another time. Here's that dip. There's the cloud moving down. Then there's a big alleyway afterwards. And this was saved from back on the 3rd. Okay, so going back to, so I'll let you watch this one more time. That in mind. So here's that, you know, it's moving across, and that there's a big alleyway. Now wait a minute, the cloud is, here's the cloud that's coming in. That doesn't make sense. Doesn't seem to match. All right, let's go on. I got other things I have to show you here. So this is the water vapor, and it goes from 7:15 on 1-3 to 6:45 on 1-4. And I'm just going to go ahead and let this start and see if there's anything in particular I needed to show you here. You're getting that cloud being ripped up again, and we're having a gap. We're not, well, there's that same gap at the beginning, and here's that same gap around the 23 UTC. And I'll stop and tell you exactly when. Okay, so we've got image at 22:45. This would be 23:15. This would be 23:45, and this would be 0:15. 0:45. And then 1:15, it's back on. And then here's that cloud arriving. Well, nope, it's going passing through Iowa. So actually, this is when the radar picked up too. Let me look back at my notes here. The radar started at 1:30, the loop. So that would be matching up with that then. I keep looking for that little cloud, but I guess that's wind. Maybe that's the wind pushing it. That could be. I don't know. All right, on to the next thing. This is a close-up of Iowa. And let me unzoom it here first. This is visible satellite. It goes from 1432 on 1-3 to 345 on 1-4. I hope all those numbers make sense. Let's go forward. And I left the dark areas in there because you can see that we have the gray frame in there as well. I forgot to slow that one down. Let me run it through again. And you can kind of see that these clouds, remember that one frame I showed you, they look kind of torn at something about, well, it was a little earlier than that. Let me go through frame by frame. So this is at 1432. We got some clouds moving in. And now there was a jump for some reason. Oh, here we got a bunch of frames close together. That's why. This is 1432, 1440, 1445, and then at 1415, 1545. Now that's more normal. Before they had them real close together for some reason. You can see, I wonder what this is. I was going to call it a chemtrail, but it's not moving. So I don't know what that is. There's a line, a very straight line. And then you can see right here is where they kind of got all, see here they're fluffy and nice. 1545, they're starting to break up. Now we're getting wispy things coming in. This looks like it got shook up even more. And then it's nighttime. So it went from 2301, this would be 2315 or 45. Back on at 101, and then it's just nighttime. So then going over to NextSat, I was trying to find the gaps, and there are actually quite a few gaps in this. It seems like every hour there's about a gap. Every grouping of 4. This goes every 15 minutes. And then that happens until the 2100 mark. Let's see if I can get that. Well, let it just play through first. Iowa's right here. I'm going to zoom it in. You won't be able to see the time, but this is starting the loop right here. The loop goes from 1345 to 715. The 1345 is on the 3rd and the 715 is on the 4th, and this is UTC time again. I want to show you this little, I don't know what it is. There's little white specks that appear and they're airplanes, but this is not that. Right there, see them? And then right after that, everything is all tore up. And unfortunately, I can't show you that close up and get the controls at the same time. But I will try to find where it is and stop it and zoom in for you. Right there. So it's on 1/3 at 1730. So that was like 3 hours before. Now I gotta see if I can get it to stay there when I move off of it. Nope, because I go across that other button, so I'm going to have to come down, around. There we go. Come down. Now you can see also up here in North Dakota, there's some, like here and here and here and here. And that's not airplanes, because there's too many of them. I mean, some of them might be, but they're even brighter than the clouds. Although that could be the sunlight glinting off an airplane, I suppose. But this is more clumps here in Iowa. See, there's right here, those look like 4 dots put together, and here's another one. Here's like a little row of them. Here and here. See, so it's not airplanes. Not in this situation anyway. And they're down here in Illinois. If you go look off of LA, you know, like LAX, you can see what they should look like. If you want to really see what the airplanes look like, and you can kind of watch them move. This will move from here to there to the next frame. You know, you can kind of watch them go across to a small degree because they're changing direction, etc. So, try to figure out how the best way to talk about this is, because it's so far away you're not going to be able to see anything. Well, I'll just step through it then, and we'll zoom in if we need to. Now you can see that the clouds are kind of ripped up again, like I was talking about on that other loop. And then this is nighttime, the infrared. So we're going to go backwards rather than go through everything again. I find this S cloud interesting. We've got, I call them snake clouds. If you do a search on snake clouds in my name, you'll find them. And they're frequency clouds of some sort. I haven't quite figured it all out yet, but this looks like one of them because they have a typically they have an S curve to them. So I'm going backwards still. We'll go, here's the night before. Clouds are moving in. There's the frequency right there. 23, let's see. And then it's nighttime when the workers actually arrived, or dark. It's dark here at that time. And then you can't see much on the infrared. But this looks like that cloud that might have been rising up too, or whatever it is, because we didn't see all the rest of this stuff on Iowa. So one more thing. I know this is long. This is the from a view from the North Pole. Here's the North Pole up here, and here's the United States. And the loop goes from, and again, this one I have trouble. You can't get to all the controls, so I'm gonna have to slide around here for a minute. Starts at 15 UTC on December 30th, and it goes all the way through, going back a frame, 6 o'clock on January 5th. And I got it slowed down as far as it'll go. I'm just going to go ahead and start the loop, and then we'll enhance it. Because I'm looking for, what I was looking for, since this goes back several days, is that cloud in Washington or whatever that was. But notice there's a, you can see that alleyway forming. And there's this really weird thing that happens up here, right there, where everything just kind of, and then we also have a gap on January 3rd. Let me see where the loop, where that thing shows up, and I'll zoom in on it. I should have written it down, I'm sorry. It's kind of forming right there. So January 3rd. Well, maybe I can see it here. I can. Barely. Let's sneak it up a little bit. So you can't see the time and see the buttons at the same time. A definite disadvantage. You think they put them on the side when they were going to be so big. Now that's a strange thing right in there even. Let me zoom in on, will it let me? No, I gotta go use this button. It's almost like a V coming here, in an alleyway, and then it's just a strange cloud configuration. You don't normally see these kind of gaps. Going different directions. And here's the really strange one. And it's not showing the time once I zoom in. Let's see, I can go get it though. This is January 3rd at 3 UTC. So that's like 20 hours before. But that's kind of that same time where that little blue area starts that moves down into Iowa. And I'm going to go ahead and leave it zoomed in here and do the starting and let it loop through. Let's see if I can get the time showing. There we go. And then here's that. Oh no, that's not it. So we're at the 3rd. There, it's pushing through. Sorry about that. So anyway, there you have it. I mean, that's everything I could find about it. I came up to no total conclusions other than it looks like there was a frequency that was sent in. that's been blocked out on a bunch of other frames because of all the gray area that I ran into. And because sometimes they show up as a big band and they're just take your breath away almost. And I don't know what the purpose of them are. I think it is to send a frequency, and I don't know how it works. But if these frequencies can affect the way people think and do things, I would say that having these things happen during a caucus is a bad sign, and we should probably watch the other voting periods for what's happening in the weather. So there you have it. God bless you. Have a good day.